Hello, Meoni here. Welcome back to another video for Final Fantasy XIV, covering more things added and changed in patch 7.5. Glamour changes then. So whilst we didn't get any Glamour storage space or any extra Glamour plates added in patch 7.5, we did get a plethora of other quality of life changes that will reduce the amount of things that you have to kind of try and hoard in other places, that hopefully will mean that you can place more things in your armoire and that of your glamour dresser. First off with the armoire then, which is a near infinite storage capacity for things. This has been massively updated. Now we can store job and class related gear. So for example, we've got the idealized sets here, which are the dyeable versions there of the level 80 job gear, which you can get from Memora Misera. Those can be stored in here, so you can go and collect all of those and now store them in here instead. We've got stuff like regular job gear and additionally dungeon gear. The caveat to this then, as you can see, this is a level 93 Zormor bottoms from Warcore Zormor. The caveat to that is 7.0 dungeons only. There are no trial gear that can be placed in here, no raid gear currently. It is only dungeon gear, so from Dawntrail. Hopefully they backdate this in the future to other expansions, but they are saying going forwards, this is the way that it will go for duty gear, so that's very exciting, and hopefully they expand that in the future to raid gear and trial gear. That would make me happy. So we can store that stuff. If we go to remove things from here, you'll see that there are two new tabs. The first is a class and job gear tab, then we have a dungeon gear tab. On the class and job gear, the caveat here, as they say, is some things may or may not be storable. They're still working through it. We have everything from leather worker arms, gathering arms, look for botanists. We've got the Asclepian set, level 99 sage stuff. So all of the job gear that's given to you through artifact quests and later on as well can be stored. Like we've got the Tiamat gauntlets here. All job-specific gear for that specific job can be stored here now, which is going to save a lot of space. The problem with this is, of course, it doesn't store dye information. So if you have this stuff already stored in your glamour dresser, you might want to leave it there if you want to keep the dyes, or you will have to reapply dyes to this item through a glamour plate. But it is still very good when you have an excessive amount of gear. Of course, this is not the full amount. I've got to go through my retainers and various other vendors to buy back stuff to put back in here. But having instant access to this whilst I'm using the glamour dresser is going to be incredibly useful, and is a step closer to a sort of idealized system that we have in other games like World of Warcraft, where you store the image of an item infinitely when you discover it, compared to actually storing a physical item. They are one step away from doing that, and I think this is a really good option, and it's a great quality of life change. I don't know how much lag might be induced by having every single piece of job gear in the game. I'm sure they've QA tested that. And in terms of the dungeon gear as well, not only is the dungeon gear the actual armor, you can also store accessories as well. But again, this is 7.0 onwards at the moment. As you can see, I've put all of my Mistwake sets in there, most of them, so I can easily access this stuff whenever I want to make a glamour. So this gives you even more reason to hoard stuff from Dawntrail related duties that you go into, and instead of throwing it away, you might as well put it in here, because you never know the day where you might want to use, I don't know, the Vanguard armor offending, which is pretty cool, but it's very specific. It's got a very unique aesthetic that you might not want to use all the time. But instead of throwing that away and having to do the dungeon again when you see someone else wearing it and making a cool glamour, you've got it stored, right? And that's the perk of that. So that's the armoire changes, and they will expand this in the future, hopefully backdating it to other expansions as well, right? Especially for the dungeon gear. Then for the glamour dresser, we have changes to the outfit system. Whilst we didn't get updates to the storage or any extra plates, unfortunately, we did get some changes to the way that the outfit system works. And now the outfit system will allow for Hall of the Novice gear, gear from certain 2.x instance dungeons, only a few of those, but all instance dungeon gear from patch 3.0 onwards. And you'll be able to apply those as glamour outfits, right? So as you can see, we've got the Shadowless Petasos of Healing. We can click the outfit glamour button, and as you can see, you can store that. Deliberately, I'm not going to choose to put the healing gloves in here because I want to show you what happens with this system. We can store that in. A new feature then is that if you go and do a duty, for example, there we've got the shadowless healing chest piece in there, right? Well, sorry, the hat. But let's go and do that dungeon again, and then we got the gloves, right? You can then press the outfit glamour button, and it will say, there's already an outfit that matches this. Would you like to add this to the pre-existing outfit glamour? You say yes, and then it comes with a window, and you can select multiple pieces. For example, we've got the boots there, hands, and the hat on hand. I think the rest are in my retainer, and then it just simply updates it like that. And if you wanted to, you could right-click, and you could press add missing outfit gear here as well if it is in your inventory or in your local, I think it's just in your inventory or armory chest, you can select it here as well. So there's a sub command. You can also restore items individually if you want to. So if you wanted to take this hat out and store it as a regular item to put dyes on it, store it with dyes, if it was dyeable, that's a bad example because it's not dyeable, then you could do, right? Or you could select multiple pieces. Yeah, more freedom to select what you want to and store as you wish. Another thing then is that through the filter feature, you might want to hide items not eligible for outfits and then go through your various different lists until you find things that can be stored as an outfit glamour. Because whilst this is great to be stored here, this is an undyeable piece, but I might want to have this stored as a glamour outfit so that if I get multiple pieces of the same set, I can then add that to a glamour outfit instead, so that in the future I won't be taking up extra slots. So whack that filter on, and then we go through the restoration process, and then we go on this list, and then we go and press this and apply those items like that. The big problem with this is there is no bulk way of doing it. So if you're like me at the start, I had hundreds of items that I had to take out one by right-clicking them and restoring them, and then going and finding if something can be placed as an outfit glamour, and then re-putting it back in. I did save quite a lot of slots. I went down to 600 glamour storage space, but I've gone back to 758 because I've now got access to more things that I didn't before that I can store in here, right? I'm emptying my retainers and slowly I am filling this full of outfit glamours. Is this a perfect system? No. No. In a perfect world, we would have a system where we stored everything in the armoire apart from the things we wanted to dye. Or in an even perfecter world, we would be able to store items with dye information in the armoire, but that might be a little bit of a loophole. You know, technically, I don't know how they would do that. But that is pretty much the changes to the armoire, and it's taking me quite a while to go through all of my pieces of gear. Of course, there are many pieces that I cannot store as outfit glamour, and there are many pieces that I don't want to store as outfit glamour, and I can choose to not have it stored that way if I don't want to. If I want to keep the ruby red, for example, on that Neo-ish Guardian top of maiming, I totally can. I just wouldn't take it out and apply it. But yes, that is the changes. There are lots of rooms for improvement when it comes to this system, but this is a great start. The armoire side of things is my favorite, though, right? The availability to store dungeon gear is a dream come true, because it means that hopefully in the future we can backdate this to other expansions. I can completely empty my retainers, and then I can get rid of some retainers. That would be the dream, because then you would spend less money on the game if you're a hoarder like I am. But yeah, a great start in the right direction. But that, as far as I could tell, is all of the changes so far. Good quality of life, a good start, a little bit messy, a little bit confusing, and in need of a batch convert button. If I was able to go to the Glamour Dresser and just, you know, find something on this menu using the filters, like the hundreds of items that usually are in here, and then right click on this, and instead of having restore, just convert, it would be nice, right? And then obviously you've got your view outfit ready glamour items, and it lists you the items for that set, but it would be nice to have a batch convert rather than having to do it individually bit and a bit. It's a good step in the right direction. There needs to be a lot more quality of life added, and I think they're probably aware of that. Leading up to Evercold, I can expect quite a few other changes to be implemented along this line, and hopefully some fixes and, you know, smoothing out of the system. But it is a good step. Anyway, let me know what you think about this, how tiresome it is to take things out one by one. Leave that in the comment section. Let me know what you think. And I'll see you all next time for more 7.5 updates. Bye-bye.